So I had a message from Anne, and I've been meaning to discuss it. It was to do with, are we winning? And you remember I said it was key. The Pluto-Saturn conjunction in Capricorn was key to a renaissance, but at the same time, it was happening at the same point as the Uranus-Neptune conjunction that happened a few times in the early 90s, which I said is linked with things like Agenda 21, also cultural Marxism, the new communism, whereas communism broke down in the Soviet Union in the early 90s and in Eastern Europe, but it had already kind of metastasized with all the institutions in the West, from the universities, etc., to all the government departments, right? So it was the new kind of push for communism. And also we have the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction taking place at Christmas in Aquarius, which I say is also linked to me astrologically to communitarianism, communism, Agenda 21. So the battle is on, but no one says this battle should be easy. And the problem is we can't all just sit back and hope that someone else is going to do it. We all have to contribute to this revolution, to this renaissance in our own way. And I think the problem is too many of us are thinking that if we sign a petition or just go on a march, that the rest of the time we can just go on with our lives. But every day they're shutting our lives down. And a lot of this is going to be permanent. I think a lot of people still think that if they're really good kids, if they wear their masks, if they wash their hands, if they do their social distancing, it's all going to go away. But it's not designed to go away. It's training us for the new reality where we work from home, do most of our shopping from home, do not travel on planes, don't take long trips, maybe don't use cars, move to electric cars or only using electric taxis or driverless cars. It's busy changing our whole mentality and resetting our minds about what to expect from life. And so it's not going to go away anytime soon. So it's up to all of us to use our power in boycotting big businesses, using our protest, using our voice, but doing those small things every day, like just the changing the way we do business, using cash more and more so they can't get rid of cash. Because one of the reasons they also want to get rid of cash is so they can apply negative interest rates on your money in the bank. Because if you have money in the bank and they're going to charge a negative interest, you just withdraw it and keep cash under your bed, don't you? But you can't do that if there's no cash. That's why they also need your money all digitized so they can tax you and not only tax you and charge you your negative interest rates, right? So you'll be penalized all the time. That's why more and more people will probably go on universal basic income, because they're getting penalized for being productive. So 20 years before the Renaissance, Martin Luther, the 99 Thesis was the introduction of the printing press. And 20 years before this Saturn-Pluto conjunction was the invention of the internet. And both led rise to an explosion of access to information and to people beginning to take power in their own hands. So no longer was the information the domain of like the legacy media like it is now. And in the old days, the Roman Catholic Church. No longer did you have the technocracy, or in those days, the Roman Catholic Church, which was like a technocracy, telling you this is the morality, this is how you behave, this is how you have access to God. People could read the Bible, read information themselves, and it totally revolutionized things, just like is happening now. The information explosion is what's going to crack this thing wide open. And I think they've overplayed their hand, the way they're pushing this corona thing. More and more people are getting fatigued in terms of lockdowns and all the social distancing, very much fatigued by it. People are looking forward to going back to normal. There's going to be a huge awakening when they find this rolls on and on. So I think it's almost like we have to grab victory from the jaws of defeat, but it's happening all the time. More and more people, like I say, great awakening versus great reset. People are getting alert to it. We have the Saturn-Pluto conjunction, which will also help us by destroying the very things that seek to undermine democracy and capitalism, and that's destroying the media. Look at the numbers of the mainstream media. Look at the BBC. They're having to go cap in hand for the government, asking for more money because so many people are cancelling their license. So many people cancelling their Netflix subscriptions. With the universities, with all this COVID thing, students are saying, why the hell must we pay £9,000 a month when we're learning online? I think universities are losing their power. Too many of the degrees they offer are totally useless, especially with AI coming. They're not going to provide people with jobs. When the universities begin to lose their appeal in terms of people going, that means less brainwashing, more kids homeschooling, less brainwashing. You can see they've pushed this very hard, but they've sowed the seeds of their own destruction within it. So there's a lot to be excited about, but we have to keep making other people aware as much as we can. I've come across a lot of people who are buying this whole thing early on, and now they're not. So there is hope that people will wake up. And if we just use our money and spend our money wisely as well, and support local businesses and small businesses, that's all contributing towards the fight. This whole thing can turn around. Plus, we don't know what's going on with currency and money. So, I also want to do a vlog of how I think, Bitcoin could be also the way to crack the case, or maybe a cryptocurrency. I think that kind of decentralized money, the totally democratic system of Bitcoin, where anyone can become a node and it's all consensus based, that has a massive potential as well in defeating the globalists. So Saturn-Pluto conjunction, the Great Awakening versus Jupiter Saturn conjunction, sorry, did I say Saturn Pluto? Yeah, versus Jupiter Saturn in Aquarius, the Great Awakening versus the Great Reset. We are getting traction, guys. More and more people are going to suddenly wake up to this because they've gone too hard at it. It's way too obvious. The horse is bolted. It's out there for everyone to see. They can't put that genie back into the bottle. And, we, as they keep saying, we are the many. They are the few, and they are getting weaker.